Okay, welcome to House Housing. Hopefully, a very brief executive session. The first bill I'd like to call up is House Bill 296 and recognize Representative Dumont for a motion.
Make a motion of ought to pass as amended.
Is there a second? Representative Howland? Yes. Seconds it. And you move an amendment?
Yes, just like we talked about last time, concern was brought up by a member. I added in on line 7, class 6 roads. So now it reads private or class 6.
Okay, so Representative Dumont moves amendment 2025-0797H, seconded by Representative Howland. Is there other discussion on this amendment? Is a simple show of hands okay? All right, all those in favor of amendment number 2025-0797H, raise your hand now. Those opposed? Amendment passes. So now we're on the ought to pass as amended motion to House Bill 296. Made the motion by Representative Dumont, second by Representative Howland. Any more discussion? Seeing none, I'll have, when the clerk's ready, I'll have her call the roll.
Vice Chairman Cole, absent. Representative Thaxton,
Yes.
Representative Aaron,
Yes.
Representative Bollier,
Yes.
Representative Dumont,
Yes.
Representative Grant,
Yes.
Representative Miles,
Yes.
Representative Minor,
Yes.
Clerk Reinfurt, yes. Representative Page,
Yes.
Representative Boras,
Yes.
Representative Reed,
Yes.
Representative Gibbs, Representative Hicks,
Yes.
Representative Howland,
Yes.
Representative Hegner,
Yes.
Representative Kerwin,
Yes.
Chairman Alexander.
Motion carries 17-0. Is there any objection to this going on consent? Seeing none, we're going to put this on consent. Representative Dumont, can you get me while you're listening intently to floor speeches today, maybe get me that today? Thank you. Okay, next up, I'm going to call up House Bill 457, recognize myself for a motion. I would like to move ought to pass. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Representative Grant, and I'm going to move amendment 2025-0917H. Is there a second to that? Second. Representative Aaron seconds it. Got it? Okay. So briefly, this is going to replace the entire bill. I think this language is a lot cleaner and gets the point across of what the bill was seeking to do. I think it's absolutely inappropriate that a municipality can regulate who lives in what bedroom and how they're related. So all this would do is update the Commission for Human Rights statute, equal housing opportunity, by adding on line 13, cities, towns, and municipalities shall not mandate that occupants of housing units be related by blood or marriage. This does not prohibit a town enforcing a fire code. This does not prohibit local boarding houses. I think this is much cleaner language, and I think it gets the point across of what the bill is trying to do. Other comments on this? Representative Howland.
So does that mean that the municipality still allows a change of use?
I believe so, as long as they're not discriminating based on blood or marriage.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? Is a show of hand? Oh, Representative Reed.
I just wanted to say thank you for the amendment. I really like it. I think it does very elegantly get to the point. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Representative Howland.
I don't know whether it's the right time to say this, but I passed out another one, which was an amendment that I crafted. I think the real issue with the lodging houses is the statute itself is super vague, and that's why no one wants to do it. There's no, unlike anywhere else anywhere else, per occupant square footage is defined. So for example, in an apartment, it's 200 square feet per occupant. The amendment that I just did took from other states what they do for lodging houses that really defines the actual square footage. In that case, so it's 80 square foot per occupant per bedroom and 60 per occupant per bedroom if they're shared. I kept in there that you could not do discrimination by familiar, non-familiar relationship, or marital status. And then the bottom of the paragraph, I talked to OLS and was going to reference RSA 153, which is state fire code. They said instead, why don't you put the actual statute in state fire code that's there? So the definition at the bottom that you're seeing for lodging houses is in NFPA 101, which state fire code references. And so this just makes it so much easier for a municipality if they're going to say, we want to have a lodging house. you can say, well, this is exactly how many are in it, so your code enforcement can actually do this. So that's why I would like
Okay.
to introduce.
So we'll call a vote on my amendment first, and then I'll give you the opportunity to offer yours if you'd like to.
Thank you.
Okay, Representative Page.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say that I appreciate the creative approach of this amendment. I think it comes at it from a different angle, but solves the crux of the problem. When we get to, if we talk about Al's amendment, I'll say I also support that approach. But if, seeing the writing on the wall today, I'm supportive of the amendment that's being offered right now. I think that it leaves some of these other issues unresolved, but I think we can deal with them down the road. And it sounds like there's another bill in Muni that tackles some of the same issues. So I think there's some work left unfinished if we take just this amendment, but I support us pursuing this amendment.
Okay, so this amendment, if adopted, would completely replace the bill. So if your amendment is adopted, it would replace my amendment. Just see.
No, point of order. A committee can adopt two different, you're thinking of the floor with floor
I'm thinking of the
amendments.
floor.
A committee
Yes.
can adopt two amendments and then OLS has to merge them into one amendment.
That would be a really crazy amendment.
That would be a crazy amendment. And I think that Representative Howland has done fantastic work. I think it's a little bit complex for where we are in this stage in the game. And so I like the simplicity of the chair's amendment.
Okay, so is a show of hands okay on this amendment, or do you want a roll call? All right, all those in favor of amendment number 0917H, raise your hand now. Those opposed? All right, motion carries 16-1. Well, this is just adopting an amendment. Now we're on the motion of ought to pass. Representative Howland is recognized to move an amendment.
So I move amendment 0985H, which amends House Bill 557. As I said, I already went over everything in the bill. I think it just clarifies the lodging house statute, and whether we do it this time or next time, I know that we need to clarify it because there's problems with it. Thank you.
And I'll second that so that you can offer the amendment, but I'm not going to support it. All right. Is everybody understand what we're voting on now? All right. All those in favor of Representative Howland's amendment 2025-0985H, raise your hand now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those opposed? 1, 2, 3. Representative Hicks, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's right? 6 to 11. All right, motion fails. And we're now on the ought to pass as amended motion with amendment number 2025-0917H. Any more discussion on this? All right, seeing none, I'm going to have the clerk call the roll.
Vice Chairman Cole, not here. Representative Thaxton.
Yes.
Representative Aaron.
Yes.
Representative Bollier.
Yes.
Representative Dumont.
Yes.
Representative Grant.
Yes.
Representative Miles.
Yes.
Representative Minor.
Yes.
Clerk Reinfurt, yes. Representative Page.
Yes.
Representative Boras.
Yes.
Representative Reed.
Yes.
Representative Gibbs. Representative Hicks.
Yes.
Representative Howland.
No.
Representative Hegner.
Yes.
Representative Kerwin.
Yes.
Mr. Chair. Yes, I vote yes. So motion. It's all
Chairman Alexander.
right. She forgot about her state rep.
Chairman Alexander.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Motion carries 16-1. Any objection to this going on consent? Okay, seeing none, it's going to go on consent. I'm going to write the report while I'm intently listening to this afternoon. All right. Last bill we have is HB 410. I'm going to call on Representative Reed to make a motion.
Move ought to pass.
All right. Representative Reed moves ought to pass. Representative Bolio
I second that motion.
seconds it. Representative Reed.
I move amendment number 0979H, which is before everybody on your desk.
Okay. Second by Representative Bolio. Okay. Would you like to speak to the work of the subcommittee and
I would like to speak to the work of the subcommittee and to the amendment. I will try to be very brief. So we heard a lot of feedback during the hearing. This is the bill that creates this thing called an extraordinary restriction on housing. And it says, yeah, your town can do the extraordinary restriction, but there's a higher threshold if they do that. Representative Bollier pointed out that strict scrutiny is a legal standard that very elegantly brings up that level to say you have to have all your ducks in a row to prove that this is in order and necessary. So we took out you have to bring up, this best scientific understanding and quantitative and whatever evidence. And we just brought it to that strict scrutiny level, which is in case law. The wording is narrowly tailored to serve a compelling government interest, and we made it even more specific, a compelling government interest in public health or safety specifically. So it's a very high standard that the courts would have to use to say that that is appropriate. So we took out all that evidence. We did say you can supply the evidence in paragraph 2, but that it's not dispositive. And then number 3 is the list. All of the items are largely the same. We did take out the camping ones, which really hurt my feelings. But I want to camp on my own land, but we took it out as something that a lot of people would find fault with, and particularly the Senate. We also took out the kind of income-based thing that would say that if you're getting a variance, you wouldn't be charged more than $100. So the ones that remain are largely what we talked about. Minimum square foot, which allows tiny homes unless they can prove otherwise. Lot size minimums of 5 gross acres, gross being important because there may be wetlands, per primary dwelling unit. So the way I had it before was per lot, but then you would have, like, if you had ADUs, then they could require with one ADU a 10-acre minimum, for example. So we said per primary dwelling unit. We added road frontage requirement, which was similar to a previous bill we passed. The prohibition on residential use in areas zoned for commercial use, which is similar to a bill that we passed. Restriction on in-home business use in areas zoned for residential use, provided that such business does not violate noise pollution, garbage, or light ordinances. Whether a dwelling is constructed on or off-site, which allows for manufactured, Quonset, all kinds of different kinds of homes, and local amendments to state building codes. So the state building code's always in effect, but if it's a 4-unit or smaller, the town can't add to the state building code with respect to building materials or methods of construction. This is where you get your 3D printed houses, et cetera. And then the effective date is the last piece. Second to last piece. So we're saying the current ordinances that are already in place that would violate this, they would have, the effective date, they won't be able to enforce it unless those ordinances meet that requirement. So that immediately makes those ordinances open to lawsuit by the citizens who are impacted. And then the final thing is the effective date, which is 180 days. We originally had 60 days, which is pretty standard, and I had given an extra 90 days for current ordinances, but since we're removing that 90 days from that section I just talked about, we're extending to 180 days to give them time to go back and revise any current ordinances they have. And there you go.
Right. Other comments? Representative Bolio, Representative Aaron?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I was on the subcommittee. The original bill I could not support. I think the subcommittee of the subcommittee did a great job in cutting down everything to this level of wording, and I can support this.
Representative Bolio.
Yes. So I also appreciate a lot of the work that was done, in the subcommittee on a bipartisan basis. I think Representative Reed did a really good job of summarizing the bill and how this amendment and how things have changed. The only other thing I would want to emphasize is that if you look at the language of this bill, it says town. This bill, I think, seeks to strike a balance, and it gives a lot of deference to local control. It's not saying towns can't do these things. It's saying towns may do these things. They just have to, have their restriction narrowly tailored to serve a compelling government interest, and that interest is in public health or safety, which is reflective of the language in the Zoning Enabling Act. The other thing I would point out is that we did kind of leave a little breadcrumb here in terms of the type of evidence that may be used to show that, such as scientific studies, quantitative or empirical evidence, but those things are not necessarily dispositive of whether something is actually narrowly tailored or not. It's just saying that's something that may be offered, but it is not inherently dispositive. So
I like this, especially I've just realized on line 29, the restriction in-home businesses used for residential use. That means EFA families can use their EFAs in a residential setting with
So-
restriction.
You may not remember this, Mr. Chair, but 2 years ago, a year ago, whatever it was, you said emphatically to me as a member on the special committee on housing, you want people to have cafes in their homes and walkable little cute little neighborhoods. And that is exactly why I put that in the LSR when I filed it, was because of your recommendation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
May I add to a comment of Representative Bolliers? Just that the subcommittee of the subcommittee was me bringing in lawyers from Mercatus and Institute of Justice. So we had I think 4 lawyers working on this, including Representative Bollier. And so the findings of fact, if anybody is confused about dispositive, all it means is that just because they supplied an evidence doesn't mean that that proves the case. The judge still determines whether or not it's absolutely compelling to the government interest in health and safety. That's all.
Okay, other comments? Representative Hicks.
Thank you. One of the things I think that we struggle with on this committee a little bit is that balance of state mandate versus local control, and I think this bill is a good example of that, and really weighing those two pretty conflicting issues. And I think that this bill does do a good job with that. I also appreciate Representative Reed's feelings, even though they were hurt. She understood in order the bigger picture here and getting this passed to help people build housing in the state and be housed in the state. So it was good compromise. It was good bipartisan work. And I think this is more of what should be happening in the House. So thank you for the subcommittee as well, Mr. Chairman.
Perfect. Well, with that, is everyone able to vote on the amendment? All right, a show of hands. Okay. All those in favor of amendment number 2025-0979H, raise your hand. Those opposed? Abstention? Oh, no abstentions. I'm thinking Budget Committee. All right, motion carries 17-0. We're now on the final ought to pass as amended motion. Any more discussion on that? All right, seeing none, it's ought to pass with amendment number 0979H. We'll have the clerk call the roll.
Vice Chairman Cole, absent. Representative Thaxton.
Yes.
Representative Aaron.
Yes.
Representative Bollier.
Yes.
Representative Dumont.
Yes.
Representative Grant. Representative Miles.
Yes.
Representative Minor.
Yes.
Clerk Reinfurt, yes. Representative Page.
Yes.
Representative Borres.
Yes.
Representative Reed.
Yes. Yes.
Representative Gibbs. Representative Hicks.
Yes.
Representative Howland.
Yes.
Representative Hegner.
Yes.
Representative Kerwin.
Yes.
Chairman Alexander.
Yes. All right, motion carries 17-0. Ought to pass as amended. Representative Reed, will you write the report?
I asked Representative Bollier if he would.
Representative Bollier will write the report. Any objection to this going on consent? All right, seeing none, we'll put it right on consent. And with that, you have 25 minutes left to your lunch and a free Tuesday. So everybody enjoy your lunch, and we're adjourned. Thank you.